Hi, my name is Daniel, and I'm Brazilian, and this is my first video in English. Sorry, I hope you can understand what I'm saying. I don't used to talk in English and don't use it much. Never been to an English-speaking country, but I hope you understand. I have a blog and a website, and I publish recorded many videos on YouTube. I'm starting this, but this is my first video in English because this time I want to speak to people in Europe and the United States and all over the world, because we are facing a problem that we are calling social Marxist cultural Marxism, Marxismo cultural, cultural Marxism. And there's a great video on YouTube that's called Who's Killing Our Society. I think this video is made in Czech Republic, and a very good video. I see this video has been viewed more times in Brazil than the version in English. So I hope Europeans and Americans should see this video. And what's happening? This time I come to talk to you because there's been now Sunday completed 1 year from that massacre in Norway that maniac Anders Breivik killed more than 8 people, and sure, the guy is a psychopath, sociopath, don't know, a killer, and what he did was true. Don't need to say. Sorry. Sure, it's condemnable. What he did was very wrong, but I understand his ideas. I agree much with the ideas he had and the ideas he stood for. Sure, I condemn the act, but the ideas, he's right, and sure, he should defend his ideas in other ways, and what I am doing, fighting social Marxism, cultural Marxism, because it's been destroying our society. This video, Who's Killing Our Society, is very good to explain it in about 6 minutes, and it explains the cultural war against Western society. In United States, this is happening. In Europe, this is happening. Here in Brazil, this is happening. There's a blog whose title is Marxismo Cultural, a Portuguese blog, and they talk much about what's happening in Europe, and sure, I read more this blog. It's in Portuguese too, and I write and I speak in Portuguese for Brazil, and this time I'm coming to talk in English because Anders Breivik, I didn't look for the test he put on internet explaining the causes that led him to what he did, but I only heard about it on media, on television, that I don't trust, and it's part of the problem, it's part of the manipulation of society, and the many lies we see on media, and we look for and see what movies, the way movies and the mass media is lying to us and manipulating society. So I don't trust in media, and the only things I heard about the manifest, the test Anders Breivik led, is by television. But by what I understood, sure, the media was attacking him, but I agree with the ideas I understood he was standing for, and he told something about Brazil, about multiculturalism in Brazil. I already recorded a video talking about multiculturalism in Brazil, and but in Portuguese. And now I'm speaking English to say about the multiculturalism in Brazil, a process which is being running in Europe and the United States. But Europe is, for thousands of years, you have the people, that was the culture that was in Europe for thousands of years, that's now being mixed with other cultures about foreigners. And sorry, I don't remember every word, but look for multiculturalism, and you'll find many sites and blogs and people talking about it in Europe. I want to say to you about what's happening in Brazil, because we are not facing a process of becoming multicultural. Brazil was formed this way, but Brazil was formed multicultural because we were colonized by Portugal, which is a very small country in Europe, about 500 years ago, when Portugal started to colonize Brazil. And here we had Indians, the natives that were almost vanished from the country, and the natural resources, the forests is almost destroyed. The only Amazon is still strong, but facing attacks and being destroyed too including by our government, who is building hydroelectric plants, electrical plants on the rivers. But a small country like Portugal could not ever colonize and Brazil alone. So we started as farms and rural production. There was brought to Brazil many slaves from Africa, who is now the African descendants. The African descendants in Brazil are almost 50% of population. They are almost the majority of population in Brazil today. The mixed people, the niggers. Sorry, I don't know if these we call negros, brancos negros. I don't know if it's the right word, but black people is mixing almost 50% of population in Brazil. And we had, for 100 years ago, came much Japanese, Italian people for much longer, and we have, during this civil war in United States, came much Americans too, and Italian, Spanish, some from Spain, and Japanese today. Enfim, Brazil was formed more than 100 years ago by many cultures that came to Brazil. So this is natural in Brazil. We are more multicultural than United States. United States, you have only 12–13% of population from African descendants, and in Brazil it's almost 50%. The other half from depends on the region. Some cities have about 50%. I know a city near my city, about 50% is Japanese, and from Europe, from many parts of Europe, from Germany, more than in South Brazil. So it's natural here, and even though we have much problems, because you see, in natural resources, Brazil is much rich in water, in natural resources. We have much things. Brazil is really rich. Other countries were explored their natural resources, and Brazil is still much rich in natural resources. And yet we have so much problems, so much poverty. We don't have a good education. We have too much social problems. With all this richness, we have much violence. The population of Brazil is almost 200 million people, much less than the United States, and guns are very controlled here. Yet we have almost, in fact, maybe above 50,000 killing, assassinations, killers in Brazil every year. So violence here is much big. We had yesterday or Sunday Italian who came to Brazil. He arrived Friday. In the next day he was killed in a robbery in São Paulo. It was with a Spanish friend. So you in Europe, I don't know what you receive in information by the media, which for sure the media in Europe is also controlled and also a liar and manipulate people. And I don't know what you heard about Brazil, but what we see here, some Europeans and Americans coming to Brazil to visit as tourists, places that here in Brazil, if you have a normal life in city and work and have a good salary, you don't go to those places because it's too dangerous. And European Americans, fools, come to Brazil and go visit those places and are really fools, happy fools. As tourists to go in those places and don't have any idea the danger they are, the trouble, the danger they face. And it's, I don't know, what we see in Europe about Brazil is you don't have any idea the reality in Brazil. Music that here is a garbage, much music very bad. You don't understand the lyrics from the music, and it's becoming popular in Europe. The garbage of our music, I don't know, but you are being lied about Brazil. Enfim, I don't know if they sell Brazil as a good example of multiculturalism, but the fact is Brazil have too much social problems, which it's not understandable the cause of so many problems, because Brazil should be a very rich country, and yet we don't have a good education, very bad. We are between the 10 biggest economies in the world, yet we have one of the worst education, worst social the worst social problems in the world. So Brazil is not a good example of multiculturalism. I don't know what they are lying to you, but don't trust this. So sorry my English. I hope this video is useful. Thanks. And I have a site, coelhovoador.net, but it's in Portuguese. Coelho is rabbit, my name, Daniel Coelho, Daniel Rabbit. So thanks and bye.